Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so listen up, everybody. Okay, first of all, thanks for coming, everybody. It's been a great time. I can talk loud. That's what Johnsons do.
Yes.
My dad taught loud because he felt like the louder you talk, people listen. I got a little different concept. If you say something intelligent, people listen. All right, so I got a lot of intelligent people in this room. So I know everybody's listening. So listen, first of all, before Mikey gets started with his presentation, I want to say thank you to every one of you. I mean, it's been great. It's wonderful. This is what we do. We get together. We got some people that's been in my house before. Those of you that have come to my house for the first time, on behalf of me and my beautiful wife, my queen, thank you for coming. This is the way we always conduct business in our house. This is a house that's lived in, okay? Ain't no bouginess going on up in here or none of that. Because, I ain't raised like that. All right, but I do want to say, on behalf of my wife and myself, thank you so much for coming. First timers, I hope this is the first of many more times that you will come and visit. Okay? Some of you I ain't seen in 40 years. I love you like it was yesterday. Okay? I really want to say that. And it's been very special and heartwarming to me that you all were here. And I greeted you just like I did when I was 6 years old, maybe. But I will tell you that I love you like I've loved you for 40, 50-something years.
I love you more.
So,
we love you more.
So there you have it. See there? That's what we get in this house. You know. All right. So without going any further than that, I just want to say thank you all for coming to celebrate 93 years of youngness with our mother. Okay. And y'all. Okay. So yeah. So it's been great. It's been fun, and let's not end it here. Anyway, Mikey. If you don't know Mikey, you need to get to know Mikey. Mikey is a sponge for knowledge. But Mikey is doing a documentary. I don't know, he'll explain it to you. He's very technically savvy, which, I am too. But anyway, not to the point. Not at that level. All right. So without let's do what I did that. See, I stand in there. All right. So I'm the jokester of the family. I'm good with that. I'm the one that loves everybody, and I want to see everybody laugh and smile and have a good time. Okay. But please, let's give a warm welcome to my nephew, Mikey Johnson.
Alright, so I've done this before, not with this large of an audience and not with family. One thing about this family is it's kind of hard to get some words in sometimes.
Yes.
So, and that is what it is. And I'm normally the guy that's behind the camera. I'm normally the guy documenting stuff and filming stuff. For those so I'm using this opportunity as a test too for everything that I'm working on. This is my life's work pretty much. So I've been working on this for years. We've had conversations with people here and there. I'm a problem solver. That's what I do for a job. I solve problems. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a smart. I don't normally talk about myself. So there's an audience there that doesn't know me. So you guys can vouch for anything that I say. You call me out on anything that I say that's not true, right? And we'll go through a little exercise where we can see how much we can agree on, because that's what I feel is part of the problem. If we get a foundation we can agree on, that's the start, and we can go from there. But so everything I'm telling you I've already done. It's gonna come to a point, I don't know how much time I have left, it'll come to a point where I'll be riding the roller coaster with you guys. I've created a ride that is gonna do the best thing for the most people that I can think of. I've got a pretty creative imagination. So I shot holes in it. It's like, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Strange, but he can travel in time and he can basically go ahead and see what's wrong. That didn't work. Okay, well. So imagine doing that for six years. Every day, Like, I don't think people realize, like, I go to work, I come home, I work on this, I go to sleep, I go to work, I come home, I work on this, I go to sleep, I go to work. When I'm not working, I'm thinking about it. On the way up here, I was trying to play this conversation in my head because I don't want to offend anybody, but there's some things we're going to touch on that's going to be potentially, the path that I chose is the path of least resistance. I'm curious to see what conversation comes up. I did this before with the Burnett side of the family. It was a good conversation, but it didn't go anywhere. So I'm to the point now in my journey where I'm giving you guys a choice. This is where I'm going, because I don't see anything more valuable than this, and we can have that discussion. But we all talk about what needs to happen, and I'm learning about my family. I got a family of soldiers, right? I've never been in the military, but I'm a spiritual boy. Like, for real, like, I'm not scared of nobody on this planet, any being on this planet, period. So I'm ready to take it wherever it's gonna go, right? And no one's gonna stop me. So I'm just glad that I have this family that has the support that allows me to do this, because part of my story is, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but I'm learning about it, because certain things will kind of, I wouldn't say hit for me, but I'm learning about things in my past. So I'm learning that, and I'll just say it like this, there's a strong chance that I couldn't have been here if my mom wouldn't have said no.
That's right.
You know? I mean, that's just real. So knowing that, I always wanted to make my life count for something. I always wanted to, if I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be for the best. And this is what I think is the best. So this is what I'm calling the 100-degree challenge. So this is a book that I'm writing. This is so if what I'm saying is true, the world changes.
Right.
Done.
Right.
And I'm challenging you guys to prove me wrong. I'm challenging the world to prove me wrong. So before my awakening, I was a smart person. I'm an even smarter person. I've accessed other ways to process information. I'm nobody special. I'm kind of talking about myself now because all I'm going to say is, it's you. I'm nobody special. But my work ethic, I've went places that a lot of people don't go because I got family that is in the struggle. And I love them just as much as I love all of y'all. And I'll just tell you, I'm trying not to get emotional, but
We love
because, no, look, I'm just gonna say it.
you. We got you. We got your back. We
Stay
got
with
your
it,
back.
Mike. Stay with it.
No.
Stay with it.
I'm
Stay
going
with it.
to.
Stay with it.
How many times have we met?
Maybe twice.
Maybe twice. Okay. This is the love that's here. If we only met twice. If somebody came in this door and tried to harm you, they gotta go through me.
Yeah.
They gotta go through Jo Jo.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many people they gotta go through? But that's everybody in here. Am I lying? I mean, this your castle.
You already know.
Okay, so this is the environment that I grew up in. So what I'm doing out in front in public is not. We got an extraordinary family, and I think the world needs to see that as well. So
Right.
it's not even my story; it's the stories here.
Right.
The stories of positive Black people doing stuff, not just Black, but just look at how multicultural we are. I mean, this is not normal. I get into some other stuff. I've traveled. I've talked to people. I've talked to people from Australia, China. I drove from Fort Lauderdale all the way to San Diego. Stopping in places, talking to people. I'm gathering information. Because I don't want to be wrong. If I'm gonna come to y'all, I'm gonna shoot as many holes in it as I can. So now I'm asking feedback. So I'm done talking. It's not really even a book. It's out there now. Like everything I've done is I put out for free. So the alias I've created, you can Google VIKTRBA, knock it out, BANG, Victor Bang. So if you Google Victor Bang, pretty much all the questions that most people haven't thought to ask have probably already been answered, documented in all of these videos that you see on YouTube. So I've already answered because I'm answering questions myself, not just documenting. So, but you guys haven't seen that. So you're gonna ask questions that, you're gonna ask, the question you're gonna ask. But the 100-degree challenge, I'm saying it's like the spiritual, remember the ice bucket challenge? Everybody dumping water on themselves. But what if we had that same level of participation in something that could actually wake you up, something that could actually help, something that could actually benefit you? Let's dump some spiritual water on us. You're gonna dump regular cold behind water. So I'm saying this is the spiritual ice bucket challenge, only it will actually change something yourself. I call it the 100-degree challenge because water changes state at 100 degrees. Not 99 degrees, not 98 degrees. All you have is hot water at 99, 98 degrees. I've spent years talking to hot water, telling me I'm not steam, and I'm telling him, you at the wrong degree. You haven't experienced it. How are you gonna tell me about steam when you at 98 degrees, right? So that's what this means. So as this goes up, and what I'm trying to see is what we can agree on, right? So I'm gonna take you through this, and I just want you to hold your questions until the end. I know you're gonna have questions. Because if we go through each one, it'll take longer, then it's all there to read, right? So what I've done with this is done clip notes on my journey. I just left breadcrumbs. It's like, I'm not trying to convince anybody anything. If the truth is the truth, whether it comes from me or anybody else in the room, it is what it is. Whether you believe in it it is what it is. So this is just what I'm leaving behind. I'm still gonna move forward, but I'm just giving this to my family because this is the highest level of information I can get. And I'm sharing this with you guys. So you know what I know. What you do with it is up to you. That's your business. You got free will, you're creative. It's up to you. But I want you to know that there's a lot, and I don't even go to the rabbit holes of the backstories of what's happened. I'm trying to keep it all positive. But there's some crappy stuff there. You just look at history and look at just our history in general, and you can see that, come on now. So things,
We see your energy. We see your
I ain't gonna, I'm trying to keep it in a certain path. So this is just about me. This is about the challenge. I already told you about the water parable. So basically, I have a problem with ignorance. I have a big problem with ignorance. Especially when nowadays, I can pull my phone out, I can access damn near anything I need to. So ignorance is a choice. And for us, it's a stupid behind choice. That's true. Why we choosing to do ignorance behind stuff? And it kills me when that's what they put on TV. That's what they show. And I'm telling you, with the energy, if I get out, if people see what I'm doing, they'll see it because it's real. They'll see it, but no one's talking about it. I don't know why, but I just can't sit back and watch it happen because I don't want to see a circle down the drain.
I thank you for that.
Yeah, that's good. So intelligence. So this is where we start. We're starting with the basics. As it goes up, it's going to get harder. Okay. The question's going to get harder. So this is 10 degrees. And as we get to 100, we're going to see where steam is. It's going to get hot. Yeah, it's going to get hot. And you're going to see. Just imagine your own internal thoughts, and we'll ask you questions towards the end. But basically, I put the definition of what I'm saying exists. So we can just say what exists. Not what you think about it. This exists. This exists. That I believe in it, have faith in it. It's sound. When they say sound, if someone tells you that this sound and this sound are the same, it's not true. You can check it by saying, well, let me see. Let me just check. I got ears too. Right. You told me this, but in my experience, from what I've experienced, this sound didn't sound like that. That's our experience as right here. The 99%, right? We getting told one thing and we experiencing another thing. It ain't sounding right. It ain't adding up, right? All right. So intelligence exists. So I'm saying intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. And I'm using Google just as a, I'm not saying Google is right on everything. Okay. But this is something everybody knows Google. Right. So I don't want it to be my information. If it's the truth, it can stand by itself. Right? Because I'm not defending nothing up here. I'm giving you the clip notes of years of my work and connecting dots that many people don't have time to connect or whatever. Right? And maybe that's my journey because I've had the time, I don't have all these other things so I can focus on. Maybe that's part of my spiritual thing because I can do that. So that's what I'm doing. So I would imagine we can agree that intelligence exists because little Rail, he don't know nothing right now. So but he can be as intelligent as he wants. He can grow,
Yeah.
right? So you can acquire knowledge. So no matter how smart you are now, you can get smarter. You can acquire knowledge. So we're saying intelligence exists. So 10 degrees. So we're good on that. Now, it's funny, and I hope you guys don't do this. I had somebody I showed this to, and we got into a discussion that she didn't believe matter exists because she got confused when I said matter as far as what's the matter. So when I say matter, I'm talking about physical stuff. Right? Just physical stuff. And we can agree matter exists because we're sitting on it, we're looking at it. Now we can go down a rabbit hole of what matter is, but on this level, matter exists. Right?
It exists.
It exists. All right. So this is an exercise in agreement. Now we're gonna get to a point where we may not agree, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right. Nature exists. Right. Nature exists. Okay, that's easy. Nature's out there. Okay, I think that's easy. Okay, life exists. Okay, we're all alive. Okay, life exists. All right. Now we're at 50 degrees. Now human beings exist. All right. Now I'm gonna go a little bit into this. Okay, a human being. This is the definition. A human being is a man, woman, or child of the species Homo sapiens. This is from Google now. Distinguished from other animals by superior mental development, power to articulate speech, upright stance. The word being is existence or nature, right? And so human being. So the reason I put this definition up there is the being side. We're gonna get into that. Google, and I'm using Google as the artificial intelligence. I mean, that's the database. So Google says human beings exist. Google says beings exist. Right. We don't get into the being part. We know what human behavior is. We don't know what our being behavior is. That's a whole different story. Yeah. That's a higher part of us. Humans are just like monkeys running around here. But the being is what prevents us from throwing doo-doo at each other. Right? Exactly. Yeah. All right. So consciousness exists. Consciousness is the state of being awake and aware of one's surrounding according to Google, right? Consciousness has an origin in the Latin word conscious, which means knowing oneself or anyone else. So we're all conscious. We're all aware. And we're just saying consciousness exists. All right? All right. So we're at 60 degrees. 60 degrees. 60 degrees. Okay. All right. Lies exist. Yeah. Right. Oof. Now, a lie is an intentionally false statement. Intentionally false. So if I say something that I don't know, that's not a lie. That's not a lie. Because I don't know. I mean, I could have been wrong. I didn't intentionally tell you that. I messed up. Now, if I know something and I tell you wrong, now I'm lying. So it's intention behind that. And intention is a thing intended, aimed, or planned. So we have been lied to. And to lie to somebody has to be intentional, meaning they have to know that they're telling us something that's not true. Right. We've experienced that for a long time. Okay. All right. Death exists. Now, people get scared of death, but death is the act or fact of dying or being killed. The end of the life of a person or organism according to Google. Now, this is an interesting statement. We're going to get into this in a little bit. She failed to regain, this is from Google, explaining what death is. Google says she failed to regain consciousness and died 2 days later. She failed to regain consciousness and died 2 days later. Now, let me ask you, what died?
She's not
Her consciousness didn't die.
Her body died.
Right. Okay. This is Google talking. Right. Say my words. So death exists, but we're gonna get into it. What died? Google says she failed to regain consciousness, and then her body died. She didn't die. She didn't come back. She went off. Same place you go when you sleep. Same place you go when you die. Where is that at? We don't really know. But we come back and we go back and forth, and when we sleep, it's just duration. That's what we're talking about. But we don't get to that. Now, this is where we start getting into some problems. Okay, I'm just talking about definitions. Just definitions because they use words against us too. Spells, spellbound. It's very easy to manipulate somebody with words, right? So faith and belief exist. Now, these are Google definitions. Now, faith is a strong belief in God or in the doctrine, and doctrines is just a set of beliefs. Just a set of beliefs. All right? A belief system, BS. Right. It could be wrong, it could be right. It's just a belief system. Yes. We can check all belief systems. Doesn't mean it's true. Right? So that's what faith is. It's a strong belief in a belief system. Doesn't mean it's true. Belief is an acceptance that a statement is true. Acceptance is the action of consenting, permission for something to happen. So let me break this down. So if I believe something, I'm accepting that it's true. If you tell me if I knock on this, it's going to sound like this, and I don't do it, I'm accepting that that's true. I can easily say, no, it don't sound like me stepping, it sounds like me knocking, right? But if I believe what you say, I accept it, right? I have to accept it. Now, we've been accepting beliefs that weren't true. We haven't tested a lot of these beliefs that we just accepted. And if you look at just what's going on,
Right.
the beliefs that we've accepted don't benefit us.
Amen.
Yeah.
Say that again.
The beliefs that we have accepted don't benefit us.
What about Jesus?
That's a whole different, that's a whole different.
We're not getting
subject.
into religion.
That's a whole different subject.
See,
Right.
that's why.
Yeah. That's a whole
Jesus
different.
saved my life.
Absolutely. But that's not what this is.
Yeah. This ain't got nothing to do with you.
Just ask the question. Oh, yeah.
No, that's the question.
Because you lost me.
Okay. Yeah, and listen, there's no stupid question. I don't want to lose anybody. That's not the point to be like, oh, I'm smart. We all smart. I want us to get it.
Okay.
So belief, you're talking about the belief part. So belief is an acceptance that a statement is true. So if I believe something, I'm accepting that it's true.
That is true.
And acceptance is the action of consenting. Okay? If I'm accepting
By
something,
Google.
huh?
No, wait. Go
By,
ahead.
yeah, you said it. By who?
By Google.
By Google.
Because that's the definition.
Yeah, just the definition, but if we can't agree on the definition, then dang, I mean, we gotta start somewhere.
Every word.
Yeah.
The English language.
Yeah, we got, I mean, but that's why I'm saying this is what Google says.
Right, I'm with you.
But the whole intent of this is just showing that if you believe something, you have to accept that it's true. If you accept something, you're giving your consent. See, the thing is, if they tell you something and you don't check, it's like you giving your consent. Because you can easily check. So
You didn't check it.
you didn't check it. Hey, you a grown man, you didn't check it.
So it means you just accept it.
You just accept it. You just accept it. So that's what I'm getting. You just accept it. And then you receive or undertake something off, right? Accepting. So basically, I'm saying when you accept something, you receive something. You're accepting it. The stuff that we have accepted hasn't benefited us.
Right.
Yes, it has. I got that.
Coach, I was about to say that too.
Yeah, I'm not a bullshit to play.
We have
Look at how when ain't I nailed and my granddaddy, but my granddaddy shine shoes.
Okay, Coach.
Give it to her. Give it to her.
I need you to give it to me raw. Tell me again. I need you to give it to me raw now. Don't talk to me nice. Give it to me raw. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
I knew this was going to happen.
That meeting kicked in.
We have to be careful making statements because you already established that we have been lied to before, that there are such things as lies.
Yes.
And we know that lies existed from the beginning of time.
Yes.
We have to be intelligent. You touched on intelligence. We have to be intelligent enough to be able to distinguish when someone is lying to us. That's why I
But on
got
top of that, what he's saying is sometimes we choose to believe what they're saying, even though they may be
But
lying.
that's why I said
And
when you
then we
bring some
still
intelligence.
give our consent.
And it ain't helping us.
And it ain't helping. That's what we want.
That's what I heard.
We don't get to that.
I just want to know what the fish is.
Let him finish. Yeah.
Video.
This is part of it. This is part of it. This is part of it.
15 minutes.
About that
So,
15 minutes.
This is the part that people get hung up on. The same thing that happened here, the same thing probably happened as we roll this out. Now imagine, now I'm also testing things because I want your feedback, because you're experiencing what I would like to do with the rest of my life. So after I'm done with this, I want your feedback on your experience, because this is what I want to do. And I want to be able to just share this with people in creative ways. And we got role models all around, and we can use a lot of positive role models. So just to shed light on that, you know, is a key thing, I think. So faith and belief exists. So we're just saying it exists.
Right. Faith and belief do exist.
If y'all was on 84, 82, 83, okay.
Those are already got ahead of me, okay? Here we go, Coach Joe. Here we go. Hold that, Coach Joe.
Now, you're talking about definitions, okay? Religion exists. Religion is the belief in, this is according to Google, belief and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal God or gods, a particular system of faith, we talked about faith, and worship according to Google. Now, words are interesting. The word religion is from the Latin word religio, which means obligation, bond, and reverence. Right? Okay? And in 2012, it was reported that there are over 4,200 religions in the world.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of belief systems. How many of them have you? That's a lot of them. It's 4,200. Right. That's a lot of knocking.
Right. Exactly.
That's a lot of knocking.
aren't real religions.
So we're just saying religion exists, right?
That's right.
So we're gonna go through that.
Right.
Okay, dogma exists. This is another. Dogma is a principle, a set of principles laid down by an authority. I'm asking who's the authority?
Right.
Right? You should be asking that.
Yeah.
As incontrovertibly true, according to Google. So if they're saying it's dogma, they're saying it's incontrovertibly true, which means you can't prove it wrong. Right? That's what dogma means. But the word dogma, the word itself, is origin in Greek, and it means opinion.
Right.
The word actually means opinion. Right. But they're saying that you can't prove it wrong.
Exactly. Who's the authoritarian that's making that accusation or right.
And does that authoritarian have authority?
And that's very vague because who's the authoritarian?
Yeah, exactly. So 86. So dogma exists. All right, so we're starting to go up. It's starting to get a little hot.
It's been hot. Yeah.
So spirit, soul exists, right? Now some people get dropped off here. There's some people that don't believe they're spirit, or they have a spirit. There's highly intelligent people that just believe they're just intelligent.
They believe in science.
And no God exists, blah, blah, blah. So they don't even believe they have a spirit, right? So these are just kind of the definition of spirit. So I would say the soul is a spiritual or immaterial. So immaterial means it's not physical, right? And the soul is not physical, right? Part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. Immortal.
Cannot be killed.
Immortal. So everyone I'm looking at in this room is immortal. Now.
The immortals.
Now. You don't die. Your body may die. You're immortal.
Spirit takes off.
Okay? Once you realize this is my journey. So in my head, it made sense. Like this just on paper. But when you had the experience, when you're on the other side, like how they say, roll your boat gently downstream. Mary, life's but a dream. I woke up in a dream. Like literally, so it's like I kind of got to pretend almost to, but I was tired of pretending. So now that's why I'm out here. So it's like I'm tired of hiding, like because part of our problem as, and I'll just use black people as an example, being smart ain't cool. Being smart ain't cool. Being spiritual ain't cool. Doing the right thing, like I'm sorry, I don't see too many examples of that on any media that I look at.
Amen.
That's just my opinion. Maybe y'all look at different shows, but I'm just saying. And I don't even have too much junk show 40 years.
Thank you.
I'm unplugged, so I'm on the other side. Literally, you just see in the body. The spirit is up there with Grandpa, Muck, Mo. Like I got like they behind me. Right? And they want y'all to get this. They want y'all to get this. Yeah, they're pushing me. I could not be still. I wanted to, I really wanted to because this is difficult. Nobody wants to do this kind of work. Who wants to dig through all of this and dig? I mean, it's yeah.
Just to be confused tomorrow. I'll be doing the same shit.
But I be on the same shit. Okay. So spirit and soul is it. So 89% of Americans
Listen.
believe in God. And the word spirit,
Hold on, say that again, Mikey, please.
89% of Americans still believe in God according to, this is June 16 God. Yeah, it just says just God. And the word spirit has part of its origin in the Latin word spiritus, which means breath. Breath. So, I'm gonna get that because you said something years ago that I always remember, and I'm gonna pull on it on this too. All right, 90 degrees. So this you are not your senses. Okay, so sight, smell, touch, hearing, and taste are major senses. They're how we interact with the outside world. They provide input to your brain, but they are not you. Right? You're not your senses. You are not your body. We talked about this. The body is a physical structure. We talked about. Okay, so and we talked about what shit in Google. The lady didn't gain consciousness and died later. So what died? The body died. The consciousness died. 92 degrees. You are not your thoughts. See, this is tough because, yeah, it is true. But people don't really get this one because, so a thought is an idea or opinion, right? You observe thoughts. Your thoughts come and go, but you remain. A thought is just like a word. There is a space in between a thought. So in between that space, you still exist. You are not your thoughts. Okay? And this is tough because people think they're the thoughts, and you can believe that. And if your thoughts aren't positive, that can eat you up. You know, that can really eat you up. So this can be liberating to someone to say, well, you know, I'm not my thoughts, and that can mean I'm not my past as well, or the things that I've done. So you are not your brain. Okay, brain is just basically your CPU. Right? It's just CPU. Yeah, it's just CPU. Right? All right, 96 degrees. Well, dang. You are not your feelings.
Amen.
This is a big one. This is a big one. Okay, a feeling is an emotional state or reaction. You have feelings, and even some of the strongest ones don't last forever.
Right.
When they pass, you still remain. They're not your feelings. So no matter what feelings you have, even if they're self-defeating feelings, that's not you. Right? Don't believe that. You know, don't believe that stuff. That's not you. 98 degrees.
We're at 98.
99. So who are you? So if you are not your feelings, brain, thoughts, or body, if you are not your body, then you are more than how you look. All right? So all of this self-esteem and all of this stuff, like imagine the world we live in where people know, I know I'm not my body. I didn't choose this body, whether you think it look good or bad. I mean, my experience, I don't get a lot of women looking like this, but whatever. If this is how I look, hey, I'm going to do what I can do with it. Right? So you are not your faith, belief, or dogma. Right? You are not your religion. You are not your religion. That's a big one too. A lot of people identify with their religion. Okay? You are not your religion. Okay? If you are not who you thought you were, then who or what is left? Wait a minute now. We done chopped all of this stuff down. You are the I am.
Bring it on.
So you are a spiritual being. This is what you are. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Right? It's called, you can call it whatever you want. The name ain't gonna matter. But it's been called I am. Like you say I am Jo Jo, just like in the I'll say the Bible. I am. I am that I am. That is you, everybody looking at me. So imagine a world where we know this and we behave this way. That's the world I want to create. That's my passion, and that's what I'm about. So y'all seen the 100-degree challenge. I want to roll this out, and I answer any questions you got. But first of all, I appreciate y'all listening and taking the time. I'm very passionate about this, spend a lot of time on this, and I don't want to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings or anything. I just wanted to show you what I've been working on because I've been with publicly. So the thing is, this is just a part of it. Like I'm already ahead of the game. Like your reactions are gonna let me know which timeline to jump to. You know, because I'm always thinking ahead. I've already got the company SIA, Spirituality in Action. So I'm about action. So I have no problem with prayer. I got no problem with prayer. How much prayer would it take to pick that up?
Intention, a lot of intention.
It's a lot of intention, right? I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying, okay, we ain't got time to wait.
That's right.
So we get it done.
Yeah,
We do it now.
God gave me the ability to do this. So what am I waiting on when I know there's something that needs to be done now?
Right. That's a good point.
So I'm taking action on what I can, at what level I can, because it needs to be taken.
That's right.
So everything I'm saying is out there. This one going public, so I answer any. Oh, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of potentials out there. I mean, I even put in for like I was thinking about running for president in 2020. Not to. I feel I can do more work outside of the White House. Actually, I feel that would be limited. But to be involved in the conversation, like all I'm gonna do is take their words, make a sword out of it, and slice their ass up with it.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Right.
Everything I've done is, I mean, I'm looking forward to the time when I be quiet. I'm done talking. I put in action. My action is here. Right? You can't make this up. Like I did this on purpose so that when I talk to you, you can't say, well, you just talking. No. You can Google everything I said. All the videos that I'm talking about are talking about the same thing. And there's other creative ways that we gonna link together because this family has the potential to be, I don't even know. It's beyond my imagination. It's really, that's what excites me. Like
That's the way
what
you
we
need
can
to think
do.
about it.
Yeah. So
It's called the agents of change.
we talked about it, but the thing is, we don't know what happens when we link together. We don't know what happens when we form Voltron. We never did it. We never formed Voltron. So how do we know?
You become strong.
All right, so that's what I got. So I appreciate y'all.